Hello, everyone. Welcome back to more political chatter. So first of all, this is my first upload, my first real upload since probably about a week ago. I was on vacation, and yeah, whatever. But I'm back, and we are ready to do a 2022 Senate forecast once again. So we haven't done one of these in a while, and stuff has changed. So I definitely feel like it is very necessary. And when I say stuff has changed, I mean the power of the Democratic Party coming into these midterms, because I really do feel that in these past weeks, in month of August, the month of August has been great for the Democrats. In this past month, they have seen a huge boost. Joe Biden has seen a huge boost. He's the most popular now since he was in early June. We saw it, look, this whole month of August. Here's August starting right here. And he's only gone up from there. At late July, he had a huge boost. And he's only moving up with no signs of slowing down. I mean, the Senate Democrats just passed a huge package that would, that would reduce inflation, put money towards climate change, all this stuff that especially they promised to do, especially with the climate change, they promised to do in the campaign. And they are fulfilling these promises. And a lot of Democrats who are currently disapproving of Biden are now going back to that, going back to approving of the president. So it will be very interesting to see what the Senate has to offer in 2022, what the Senate will be looking like. So let's get started. Plus there have been new primaries since then, so we know the candidates in a lot of states. So I suppose we can start with the safe Democratic states, as I always do. I believe that Oregon will be safe for the Democratic Party. We have Ron Wyden here, popular. In California, we have Alex Padilla running again. He took Kamala Harris's seat, I do believe. In Hawaii, don't even know, but of course it's safe blue, as it always is. Going to New York, Chuck Schumer has that Senate seat under lockdown. In Maryland, Larry Hogan could have run for Senate and easily won, but without him running, it's definitely going to Chris Van Hollen. In Connecticut, there was a little bit of interest because polls were showing a 10-point race between Richard Blumenthal and who everyone thought was going to be the Republican nominee, Themis Klarides. However, Trump came in and messed up this entire race for the Republicans, because when they had a shot with Themis Klarides, now Trump endorsed a more far-right candidate, Leora Levy, and she has absolutely no shot. She won the primary, by the way, over Themis, and now they have no shot. So Connecticut will be safe blue in this election. Vermont, we have Peter Welch. Christina Nolan, if she was nominated, it might have been maybe a likely race with a lot of independent Democrats voting for Christina Nolan, Phil Scott voters voting for Christina Nolan. However, she did not win. A Trump-endorsed candidate won, so of course they have no shot. All right, moving on. I believe those will be the only safe Democratic states. We have one more, state of Illinois. Tammy Duckworth is the incumbent. She will win re-election easily. So that puts the Democrats at 44 seats. Pretty good showing already. They just need 6 more seats, and they have the majority because they only need 50 because Kamala Harris is the tie-breaking vote. All right, moving on to safe Republican states. So Idaho, of course, will be safe. North Dakota will be safe. South Dakota, we have John Thune, who's the Senate Minority Whip. Of course, that'll be safe. Going to Utah, I am going to change this characterization for the first time in a while from likely to safe. I will put in safe because I've looked more into this race and looked at it at a more unbiased view. And, even if it was Evan McMullin really doesn't have much of a shot. and Mike Lee being the incumbent. There are just so many Republicans in the state of Utah that it would really take so many Republicans to go to Evan McMullin to even make it likely. So I would put this at safe for Mike Lee. Kansas will be safe. Oklahoma will be safe. Oklahoma special will be safe for Mike Wayne Mullen. Louisiana, we have John Kennedy. He's going to win by a safe margin. Arkansas will be safe. Kentucky will be safe for Rand Paul. In Missouri, if Eric Greitens was nominated, it would have been a lean or likely margin for him. However, Eric Schmidt was nominated, who's a very electable candidate, so that'll be safe. Iowa, that poll might have come out that showed Grassley only ahead by single digits, but honestly, I don't trust it. I really think that Chuck Grassley will pull ahead in November. He's been elected here ever since 1980. By a safe margin, I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon. I believe that Grassley will win again by a safe margin. Indiana will be safe. Going to Alabama, Katie Britt will win by a safe margin. Tim Scott in South Carolina will win by a safe margin. See many safe states for the Republicans here. And that is it. And we have one more actually. We have one more in the state of Alaska. We have Lisa Murkowski, who will advance to the general, face off against Kelly Tshibaka. She will win against Tshibaka by a safe margin. Alright, so we are done with all of the safe states. So that puts us at 45 for the Republicans and 44 for the Democrats. What's funny is that they're almost dead even. Well, they basically are dead even because both parties need 6 more seats to gain control of the Senate after this. So let's move on to likely states. Likely Democratic states is what we are doing right now. In the state of Washington, I believe that Patty Murray will win re-election by a likely margin. This one will be very easily won by the Democrats, but it won't quite be a safe margin because Patty Murray is not very popular. She's pretty unpopular, actually. Going to the state of Colorado, I would put this at a likely win for the Democratic Party for Michael Bennet. I made a video talking about how this race might be competitive, and I believe that it will be slightly competitive, but I think it will be very, very close to becoming a lean margin, but I don't quite see it going there. I think it's going to stay right at 5%, very close to becoming lean, but I really do see Joe O'Dea, who's an anti-Trump Republican, running against Michael Bennet. I really do see him putting up a very good fight. And I believe this is it. New Hampshire really is tough, but geez. Yeah, I think I am going to change my characterization of the state of New Hampshire and put it into the likely margin characterization. I believe that Maggie Hassan will win another term in the Senate from here by a likely margin. I've always had her winning, no matter what, but it really it was always a lean margin. But I believe that with this Biden popularity, with this Biden growth, and the recent polls being very good for Democrats nationwide, them taking the lead in the generic ballot. Sorry, I don't know how I forgot to say that. They took back the lead in the generic ballot. I believe that Maggie Hassan will win by a likely margin. All right, so that's it for likely Democratic states. Now likely Republican states. All right, so all right, where should we go? Oh yeah, Florida. I do believe that Marco Rubio will win by a likely margin. This race will be very uncompetitive. Val Demings is a good candidate. She would be a good candidate for Georgia. Somewhere down there. But against Marco Rubio, not many people are beating Marco Rubio. So I do believe that Marco Rubio, a very popular senator, will win another term in the state of Florida. Going, even with these recent polls showing Democrats doing very good and even winning the state of Wisconsin, I am going to go as far as to put Wisconsin in the likely margin category for the Republicans. I believe that Ron Johnson, with his -17 disapproval, will win by a likely margin over Mandela Barnes, because I do believe that Mandela Barnes is the worst candidate that the Democrats could have run. You could not put a liberal, progressive, young man in the state of Wisconsin, the state that Trump was able to win. You just can't do that. Stephen Alakera should have been the Democratic nominee in the state of Wisconsin with ranked choice voting, all of that. Mandela Barnes is just an awful candidate for the Democrats in Wisconsin, and I think enough so. And Ron Johnson is actually a very good candidate for Wisconsin. Even though he is the incumbent, he fits Wisconsin values very good. And I believe that because of that, even though Ron Johnson is disapproved of by a lot, I believe that Mandela Barnes is just such a terrible candidate that this race will go likely Republican. All right, where should we head next? North Carolina is very tough because I do believe that it will be right around that 5% margin for Ted Budd over Cheri Beasley. But I think it is appropriate to make it a likely margin win for the Republicans here in North Carolina. I really think that Ted Budd has this race on lockdown. It really just depends on whether it's a likely or lean margin, but I do feel comfortable putting it into a likely margin for Ted Budd. Anyway, that puts the Republicans at 48 seats and the Democrats at 47. Once again, both sides needs the same amount of seats to win. It really is insane, the chances of the Senate being so split. It really is very crazy. So, each party needs 3 more seats to take control, but there's only 5 seats, so who will take control? So now it is time for the lean Democratic states. Let's get started. I believe that the state of Pennsylvania will go to the Democratic Party by a lean margin. So I visited the state of Pennsylvania about 4 days ago. I was in it. I was in Pennsylvania for 2 days. And you know what I noticed? I was going through rural Pennsylvania. There was a lot of support for Doug Mastriano, but no support for Dr. Oz. Look, there are going to be a lot of Mastriano Fetterman voters, I guarantee you, because they are going to view Dr. Oz as a corporate sellout. They really, really are. They're going to view him as, the rich and wealthy and just a sellout, not having a mind of his own, when they actually really are very enthusiastic about Doug Mastriano, because he served in Desert Storm, because of all these things about his personality. And as I said, there will be a lot of people, a lot of Republicans in rural Pennsylvania who will be voting for Doug Mastriano in the gubernatorial and not voting for Dr. Oz in the Senate. So I believe that John Fetterman will be able to win this race by a lean margin. I've had this at a lean margin for quite a while now. All right, now let's move on to the state of Arizona. I do believe that Mark Kelly will win this race by a lean margin. Also, Mark Kelly is a pretty popular senator. He's approved of. The people like him. And Blake Masters is just too out there for Arizona. And, they voted for Biden in 2020. We have to remember that. We have to remember that Arizona voted for Biden and has 2 Democratic senators. They in recent years have been voting for Democrats a lot. Blake Masters is just like Trump. He'll do just just the same mistakes as Trump, and I believe that he is not a very good candidate to run. He looks like a serial killer, and Mark Kelly will be able to win this race. Alright, so we have 3 races left: Nevada, Ohio, and Georgia. So let's go into lean Republican states now. I do believe that the state of Ohio will be a lean Republican state, fairly close to becoming likely. I really don't see this getting down to 2 or 3 or even 4 points. 4 points. Yeah, that's where it will be, actually. Look, J.D. Vance, Tim Ryan, the Democratic nominee, is first of all a really good candidate for Ohio. He's a good candidate for the United States, someone to run as president, because he is a good person to put as the face of the Democratic Party. Him and John Fetterman actually are. He is a more moderate Democrat, and that's what the Democrats need to use as messaging, is that they're not all far left progressives like Bernie Bros. They are people like Tim Ryan, John Fetterman, progressives who also care about, the blue collar workers, the white working class that voted for Trump and cost Hillary the election in 2016. So Tim Ryan is running a very good campaign, making J.D. Vance look like a sellout. But then again, this is a Trump plus 8 state. Trump endorsed J.D. Vance in the primary, so I do believe that with that endorsement, Tim Ryan will lose and J.D. Vance will become the next senator from the state of Ohio. All right, so we have 2 states. The Democrats need one of them. The Republicans need both. It comes down to Nevada and Georgia, both of which I believe will come down to a tilt margin. I believe that Georgia will advance into a runoff, meaning that no candidate will win more than 50% on November 5th. And on January 5th, I do believe the runoff takes place, and you can only vote for the top 2 contenders, which will be Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. And then we will see the next senator from Georgia. So, therefore, let's start off with the state of Nevada, which I do believe will go to the Republican Party by a tilt margin. I mean, Catherine Cortez Masto is not, is not a great candidate for the state of Nevada. Yeah, sure, this state went for Hillary, but that's only because she ran a great campaign here. Catherine, Nevada is a state that has been shifting Republican lately because Latinos in huge numbers are going to the Republican Party. We are seeing this all across the Sun Belt, in Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Florida, in such high numbers. And I don't see Catherine Cortez Masto, the Democratic incumbent, somehow hanging on to this race. I do believe that she will lose, and that the Republicans will pick up a seat in the Nevada Senate, even with Biden's approval going up. I really don't see it in Nevada, and I see Nevada as a pretty Republican state in years to come. So it all comes down to Georgia. And I do believe that Georgia, once again, as it was in 2020, will be the deciding factor in who controls the Senate. I believe that it will advance into a runoff, and everyone will be looking at this race to see who controls the Senate. So, who do I believe will win this race? I believe that Raphael Warnock will win this race by a tilt margin. Look, this was a Biden state, and Herschel Walker is much more insane than Donald Trump is. Raphael Warnock is making this very clear in ads. He's making it clear that Herschel Walker doesn't really know what he's talking about. He refuses to believe evolution. He's making all of this stuff clear, and he's running a good campaign. Herschel Walker is an NFL or is a college football player. He doesn't have much political experience. He doesn't know how to run a campaign. He's not good at politics. Raphael Warnock is. He has experience from 2021. And Raphael Warnock is approved of. I believe that Raphael Warnock will win this race, and that the Senate will be split 50-50. Kamala Harris is the vice president and the president of the Senate to be that tie-breaking vote when there is a tie in the Senate, therefore giving the Democratic Party a majority in the Senate. I do believe that the Democrats will retain control of the Senate, and they could honestly very easily win Nevada and have 51 seats. I really believe that that is totally possible. Look, at this point, I'm sure that the Democrats will retain control of the Senate. The House, not so much. But I mean, in New York's District 19, there's a special election. The House Democratic candidate outperformed Biden from 2020. All right, so the House really is looking up to be a possible Democratic-controlled legislator, and but at this point, I would still have the Republicans winning it, but that's the topic for a future video. So here's the final map, 50-50, get it in. So thank you all for watching the video. Comment video ideas down below. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, and yeah, I'll see you all next time. Thanks again.